Hi everyone, Stephen here at Teach Me Music, and today we're going to talk about perfecting your posture and what it means to have perfect posture. And I'm going to just go out on a limb already and say I'm a massive hypocrite because my posture has never been perfect, but I want to make sure that you don't end up with some of my bad habits. So we're going to show you the best way to avoid that, and trust me, you'll thank me by the end of it. So we're going to talk about the posture for sitting down first and then the posture for standing up, because they are slightly different. So sitting down, perfect posture basically means keeping your back straight, trying to keep your shoulders level, which is where I fail because my shoulders always slump. When you're sat down, you don't need to have the guitar strap or the bass strap on, but the idea is it's probably a good thing for you to try it with the strap on because it's going to help when you stand up. So this means that your knee is completely straight, and what you do is the curve of the body here on the bass guitar just slots over the top of your knee, over the top of your leg, and you're pretty much ready to go. In terms of your plucking hand, and if you don't know what I mean by plucking hand, watch my video which is left versus right. That's definitely going to help you with that. What you want to do is the forearm of this hand wants to go over the body just lightly, and you just want to relax your wrist. So you don't want a wrist that looks like this, because this is really bad. You want to relax, so there is a curve, but not too much of a curve. And the idea is your other hand should be completely free to do whatever it wants to do, and the bass is sandwiched between your forearm and your leg. So the bass is going nowhere, and this hand is completely free to move, which means when you play loads of notes and when you're playing songs, you can scale up and down the bass really easily, really quickly, because you're not holding the weight or the pressure of the bass. So if you're relying on this hand to hold the weight of the bass, that's going to slow you down massively. That is bad posture. So the reason why this might not work for certain people is because if you're playing really high up, you may notice that my forearm has to go across my stomach so I can actually reach these notes. Down here, absolutely fine. Nice straight forearm, bent at the elbow and bent at the wrist. That is kind of perfect posture right there. But then as it comes up, I've got to kind of tuck my elbow out the way because my stomach is getting in the way, which is why some people sit traditionally, which is what I'm going to show you in a second, because it gets rid of that problem. So this is a modern way of sitting, a modern posture. Your traditional sitting and traditional posture is basically what people used to do with classic acoustic guitar. And what that is you change the bass, or the guitar in that case, you change it to the other leg. So what happens is your right leg, for me, because I'm right-handed, drops down, and you bring the bass across like this. So you bring the bass across, so you're going opposite leg and arm. So my right hand is playing the string still, causing it to vibrate, but my left leg is holding the bass guitar. And the bass, the actual neck, is miles away from me right now, so I have to stretch a lot more, which can feel a bit weird if you've got really short arms. But if I'm playing further up the neck, which is here, my stomach no longer causes any issue. The idea, though, is that the bass is still sandwiched between my left leg now and my right arm, which means this hand is free to move around. And if you're playing, obviously, left-handed, it's going to be sandwiched between your left arm and your right leg. So it's opposites. Makes sense, right? Really, really dead simple. And I recommend, if you're going to sit traditionally, to have a strap, because if you don't have the strap on while you're doing this, the bass might slide off your leg because it does feel a little bit more awkward, or at least to me it does. Remember, straight back, flat shoulders, and then that way you can play. Nothing's going to get in the way, and the stomach and your kind of chest is out of the way. You can play as high as you want to. Everyone's a winner if you're playing really high up, but then you've got to stretch quite a lot down here. So try out both. Try out the modern way of sitting and try out the traditional way of sitting. Work out what is best for your posture, and what we're going to do is when you're ready for that, we're then going to talk about the standing up posture as well. So try out both. Obviously, if you want to watch this video till the end and then try all of it together, that's cool. Just make sure that you've got a posture for sitting down, because you're going to do a lot of practice sat down, and make sure that you're going to do obviously a lot of your practice standing up as well, because if you don't play bass standing up, when you get on stage or when you play with other musicians, it actually does feel a lot harder. So you want to cover both. You want to do both. You want to make sure that you can get a good posture sat down and a good posture stood up. So I'm going to show you a few things now to watch out for when you stand up. And the reason why having the strap on before you stand up is a really good thing is because when you stand up, the bass shouldn't move. So I'm going to now stand up and you'll see that, and this bass won't move when I stand up. So you may have noticed that I'm now stood up. Don't worry if I look massive, it's just different camera angle. It's all good. I haven't grown in the last like 2 seconds. So when you stand up from obviously being seated, if you've got the strap on before you do, which is obviously what I recommended, what's going to happen is the bass shouldn't move. So the bass is roughly in the center of my stomach, and the way that I measure the best place to start with is you want the center of the neck, so roughly around here, because that's obviously the center. You want that to be roughly in line with your belly button, and it's just above for me, literally just a fraction above. And the reason why is because when the bass is here, you want it to go obviously over your shoulder, so your shoulder's taking quite a bit of the weight, and you want to be able to not do anything with your hands. So the bass is not going to drop down, it's not going to flip up. My hands are free to move around, and if I rest my forearm over the body of the bass, I've got really good access to all 4 strings without stretching. That is a really important thing, because loads of people love playing it down by their knees because it's pure rock and roll. But the problem is if it's all the way down by your knees, you can't bend your wrists very well when your arms are really straight. So obviously what happens is you get a lot of curve in the wrist. That's bad. That's going to be really bad for your posture. And this hand, which is my fretting hand, I can't really do anything because it's like this, and this already hurts. And I'm not even doing anything. I'm literally just trying to demonstrate, and it already feels weird. So the idea is you want both arms to be really, really relaxed, and that way they just kind of flop onto the instrument really, really easy, really relaxed, no tension whatsoever in my forearms, in my wrist, and obviously in my forearm and my wrist for this hand as well. What you want to do though is not have it completely straight across your body, like at a 90-degree angle, because that feels a bit weird. You want to slightly slope it so it's around about 45 or 50 degrees away from you, and that way it just gives your fretting hand a lot of access to the whole entire neck, keeps everything nice and concise, and once again, back straight, flat shoulders, everything is perfect. You're not going to cause any injury, really good posture, but you can still rock out and just obviously vibe out in this position. The one thing I will say though is this is your starting place. If you want to go lower, that is fine as long as it feels comfortable, because some people have longer arms than me, some people don't. If you want to come slightly higher, that is also fine as well. Just don't have the bass all the way underneath your chin like you're trying to take a bite of the bass guitar. No one needs to play bass like this. This is not practical. So somewhere around there, that's cool. Somewhere down here, that's cool. Slightly lower, that's also fine as well. But you don't want to play right by your knees and right by your feet. You're not playing bass guitar with your feet, right? Hopefully you're not. If you are, please put it on YouTube because that would be amazing to watch. And you don't want to play bass with your teeth because that's going to hurt as well. Once again, if you can do it, please put it up on YouTube because that would be epic. So you want to just make sure it's comfortable and you can kind of just keep everything nice and loose, and then everyone is a winner. So this is how to perfect your posture while standing up. If you want to tweak it over weeks or over months, that's fine, because my bass was lower, and as I've got older, it's coming higher and higher and higher. So one day I'm going to be old and grey, and the bass is going to be smack bang underneath my chin or on my face. But we'll find out, and you might see a video of it eventually. So Rewatch this video if you need to, double check everything, make sure that when you're sitting down, you're comfortable, make sure when you're standing up, you're comfortable. If you know how to play a few songs already, then try and play through those songs and see how it feels. If it feels weird, try and tweak it, try it again, and when you feel really, really comfortable, obviously that is perfect for your posture, and then when you're ready, we'll obviously see you in the next video.